Hi, good afternoon everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. So I'm a little behind on making this video, but posting it anyway. I'm going to start talking about language development. So the four things that I'm going to go over in this video is the auditory development, articulatory development, the first words, and grammar development, all in young developing children. So the first one will be the auditory development. And so auditory typically involves changes with the peripherals and the central nervous system along with the auditory pathways. So a lot of this section covers how you hear things, how like the ear canal systems, all of that come together and work. This is a natural process where information is seen or heard and then it's processed. An example of this would be kind of through the sound, through the frequency, intensity, loudness, and the location of the noises, all in young children. But this is such a natural process that you don't necessarily realize that this is happening unless there is a delay or you notice something different with the child. They're not hearing correctly, they're having trouble processing the information, kind of stuff along those lines. And so some of the basic abilities are developed at birth. So you know that from studying fetus development that a lot of this stuff happens. The babies, well, the fetus is hearing the noises from outside the womb. They're being able to respond to the mother. So during, even just before birth, this process is developing, and then it continues and advances throughout early childhood, which is a really awesome thing. And it's very important to be informative and research this information so that when you do work with children, you know how to respond, you know what the signs are, you know what milestones are, and you know how they should be reacting in different situations. So there's a long road to development. We all know this, it takes so long to develop. There's parts of the brain that aren't even developed until 21. The teenage years is a big process in the development, that's a big area, but we're focusing, of course, on early childhood, so the very early stages. Non-auditory also plays together in this in this topic. It enhances the auditory system, and it helps with the ability to adapt to different situations. So that's just a quick breakdown of the auditory development and how it plays into the overall development and the retaining of information at such an early age. So the second thing that I'm going to talk about real quick is the articulatory development. So this is the ability to perceive and produce sounds at multiple times. So there's so many things that go on in every day, and you're able to pick one to listen to, or you're able to separate all of the noises that you're hearing at one time. This is a very important and necessary component of language development. They go hand in hand. The auditory development, articulatory development, developing the first words that they're speaking, grammar development, this is all a very long process, and they all work together to create language development. So this development begins at a few months after birth, so when they're just a few months old, and it goes into late childhood. And this process also includes speech and motor skills. The age focus more with this area of development, or this aspect of language development, kind of stems between the ages of 4 and 8. Well, this is when there's a lot of new changes going around, a lot of more development, more milestones are being reached at this time. Let me move this down a little bit. There we go. Spoken language can help to provide the first warning signs of a language disorder. This also kind of goes into effect. We're also working on studying the difference in the first words and the warning signs that come up that we'll see, oh, maybe this child does have a disability, and these early warning signs come pretty quickly. So I'm going to carry on because I'm running out of time, but I'm going to carry on to the first words. So this children will usually begin their first words between 12 and 18 months. This is when just their first few simple words come out. It could be, it's usually something that's more with their experience. Like, for example, my first word was pickle. That was my first word. So I'm guessing that I had eaten a lot of pickles. My mom always said the word pickle. Do I want a pickle? This kind of stuff. It was pickle. So it's kind of based around experiences, and that also gives you an insight on development and what they're exposed to. Between 6 and 12 months later, it's about a 50 words children are beginning to use. It's more consistent. They tend to be names, objects, labels, dog, mom, dad. They represent the experiences of a child, and it's important for us to support this process, starting at birth, always speaking to the child, teaching them new words, encouraging them, being patient, that sort of thing is what we go for in this area. We also like to kind of talk an activity through. When you're doing something like, oh, I have to wash this dish, it's time for me to put it away. We're talking through what we're doing, so children are becoming more exposed to sentence structure, to labeling particular things. All right, I'm going to continue on because once again I'm over talking. Grammar development is the last area. So this is a tool to make language more complex. It's a set of rules for how word and sentence structure kind of go together. Grammar development is really based around grouping words by phrases, sentence structure, and it provides the building block for kids to understand and express themselves. Milestones tend to be, I'm going to read through this real quickly from my notes, is from birth to 18 months, children are beginning to use gestures, eye gazes, and vocalization. This is a form of language and grammar development. And 12 to 36 months, single words and then are being used, and then eventually they're combining words, making very tiny sentences, but they're doing well. 8 to 28 months, children are adding ing to the end of words, and so it's like instead of play, they're saying playing, run, running, that kind of thing. They're making things plural. 2 to 3 years is when they're starting to begin to make things more plural, and 3 and up is when they start to use longer sentences. So this all goes into the grammar development section. You can tell I broke it down a little bit between birth and 3 years and up. I kind of put that all together, broke it down real quickly. And so all of this grammar development, articulatory, and auditory development, they all go hand in hand to make language development. And I have my sites and sources posted. I'll also have them submitted with my my little upload that I'm going to put to the website. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for watching.